The truth is that I thought I wasn't going to make a pep talk this week because I'm really not in a very pep talky, peppy mood. Probably like a lot of you, then I've been affected very, very deeply by the tragedies going on in the world, by the story this past Shabbat from the settlement of Itamar, where this very, very holy family, the focal family, this very, very devoted, amazing, idealistic couple, where they were just inhumanly murdered by an Arab, and also 3 of the children. It's just terrible, 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 nightmarish news coming from this settlement. And then on top of that, there's a tragedy going on in Japan, where thousands of people have just been wiped, like the whole villages have just been wiped out by this tsunami. And who knows what's going to be going on with the nuclear plant. And it's just so much dark news. And on top of that, I have very, very sad news to share with you. For those of you who watch these pep talks regularly, that my dear friend Chagit Bat Leah, this past Thursday, she finally passed away after a tremendous, tremendous amount of suffering, leaving behind 5 very, very young orphans and a devastated husband. And the situation, I don't know, it just feels like there's so much darkness and tragedy and difficult things going on, and I'm having a very, very difficult time connecting with the Adar spirit, because what I really wanted was to give you, like before Purim, to give you like this really, really upbeat, peppy pep talk to get us into the Purim spirit. But the truth is that I did decide in the end to make this pep talk because there is something that I want to say. There is something that I want to say about how we're going to be approaching Purim in the light of, or in in the shadow of all of these tragedies and all of these dark things going on in the world right now, and in the Jewish people and the world as a whole. So I want to share a story that I heard this past week. I heard it in a class by Rabbi Pesach Kron. And I thought it was just really, really the perfect message for what I and a lot of people are feeling right now. So Rabbi Kron told a story about from many years ago, from a few decades ago, he explained that when he was 21 years old, his father passed away. So he explained that when his father was during the father's final stay in the hospital, like several weeks before he passed away. The Rabbi Kron went. He went to meet with Rabbi Schwab, who was one of the greatest rabbis of the previous generation. And so Rabbi Schwab asked young Pesach Kron, asked him. He said, "So how's your father doing? I hear he's in the hospital. How's he doing? How's his health?" So Rabbi Kron answered. He said, he said, I'm not worried. He said, I have bitachon. I have faith in God that everything's going to be fine. I have faith in God, everything's going to be fine. I have faith in God and everything's going to be fine. And Rabbi Schwab had a surprising reaction. He got angry. He had a very angry reaction at Rabbi Kron. And he said, that is not right. He said, you're not thinking about this correctly. He said, you are defining bitachon, faith in God, totally incorrectly. Having bitachon, having faith in God, does not mean that everything's going to be great. It doesn't mean that everything's going to be fine. It doesn't mean that all the sick people are going to be healthy. It doesn't mean that that everything's going to be amazing and miraculous and wonderful and amazing. It does not mean that. Having bitachon, believing in God, means that you believe that there's a plan. That you believe that God is in charge and that God is running everything. And we don't understand why. We don't understand why, seemingly bad things happen, but that God is in charge. And that's what faith in God is. It doesn't mean that everything's going to be amazing and just like how we wanted. No, it means that we have faith in God, that there's a plan. So, and this story from Rabbi Kron, it reminded me of something that I heard. I heard it about 20 years ago when I was first becoming religious. And it stuck with me. It stuck with me like a basic way of seeing the world. So a teacher told me that that reality, that like the way that we see reality, it's like looking at a carpet. It's like looking at a Persian carpet. Okay, a beautiful, beautiful Persian carpet. Okay, so see, we see the back of the carpet. We see the bottom side of the carpet, which is all you see the knots and looks all confusing, and you can't, it looks sort of like a big, sort of ugly mess, okay? But if you turn the carpet over, it's this beautiful Persian, exquisite, intricate pattern. So beautiful. And that's reality, that's the world. What we see is we see the messed up, nonsensical, knotted part on the bottom of the carpet. But what God sees is He sees this perfect pattern. Okay? So, and also what I've been thinking about is that, I didn't understand, even walking around my neighborhood, like when I take my daughter to nursery school and come back. Basically this morning, on my way back from nursery school, which is supposed to be maybe a 5-minute walk, it ended up taking me about an hour because I ended up running into all these different mothers and having this theological conversations with them about what this all means, what it means that all of these terrible things are happening right before Purim. What does it mean? How are we supposed to understand this? And then one mother, she said to me something that I thought was very, really got to me. She said, well, this is the experience of Nachlaot. This is exactly the experience of Nachlaot. This is exactly the experience of what the Jews went through, in Persia, when God turned reality, He turned the reality totally upside down. At one moment, then all the Jews think that they're going to be, massacred, and there's going to be this tremendous genocide, and then the next minute, then we're celebrating. Then there was this miracle, and Haman is hung from the tree, and Mordechai is now he's one of the leaders of Persia, and it's this this tremendous reality of Nachlaot, of everything being turned upside down, and that's the experience, I guess, maybe of what we're experiencing right now. This experience of just all this darkness and all these tragedies in the world. And then we're going to get to Purim, and Purim, the Hasidic masters say that Purim is in fact even higher, a holier day than Yom Kippur. Why? Because Yom Kippur is called Yom Kippurim, Yom HaKippurim, Kippurim. That Yom Kippur is like Purim. It's almost as holy as Purim. Can you believe that? Because I guess Purim is the holiday. Purim is the holiday of bitachon. It's the holiday of believing that everything's from God. And even though you can't always see it, we don't always understand it, but everything is from God. Everything is from God. That is what, I was just reading this week in the Netivot Shalom, that is the tremendous light of Purim. That light of bitachon, that light of knowing that not everything is always going to be fantastic in our eyes, but that everything is good because everything is from God. Everything is all part of God's master plan. Okay, so I want to bless all of you with an amazing Purim, with a very, very holy and wonderful and freilich Purim. And I want to leave you with a song. This is a song that someone emailed me this morning, and it gave me goosebumps because it resonated so deeply. I felt like with the situation now, with all these tragedies going on. The song is Mikdash Melech from Nachlaot, performed by Rabbi Shlomo Karlibach. And I want to bless all of us that we, like in the song, that God, please, God, that God should lift us up from this valley of crying, from the valley of crying, which we've been residing in for far too long. I want to bless all of you with an amazing, amazing Purim.
Mikdash melech ir melucho kumitzei mitoy chafecho Mikdash melech ir melucho kumitzei mitoy chafecho oy rav loch sheves veyei mekabocho vehu yachmoi olayichem lo oy rav loch sheves veyei mekabocho vehu Mikdash Melech Ir Melucho Kumitzei Midai Chafecho Mikdash Melech Ir Melucho Kumitzei Midai Chafecho Oy Rav Loch Sheves Beyemei Kabocho Veyu Yachmoi Ulayich Ay Chemlo Oy Rav Loch Sheves Beyemei Kabocho Veyu Yachmoi